So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Welcome you back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Thursday, March 4th. Always having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is in fact Thursday, March 4th. We are more than halfway through the first week of March here today. Nets coming off of a fresh win last night. Yankees get a nice win last night. Rangers play today. Packed Sports podcast once again. I keep on saying it. I don't know how many games. I don't know, there's going to, when the whole, virus started, it was really hard to find topics. But we are now sitting here with all the sports on. I know I say it almost every single podcast, and it probably sounds super repetitive, but it's the truth. It is so easy to get it's so easy to get topics, especially when you have the trade deadline looming, March 25th in the NBA. You have moves. The Giants are making moves. They cut Golden Tate. When you have releasings and cuttings in the offseason, free agency about to start in the NFL. When you have baseball 29 days away. When you have basketball in the prime of its season. We're officially halfway through. Nets finished their first half of their season last night with a win against the Houston Rockets. James Harden made his return, and the Nets dominated from start to finish, winning 132-114. So the Nets have off now until next Thursday because it's the All-Star break. So, I was thinking, either today or tomorrow, but with all the news, I was thinking tomorrow I might do like a first half reaction, kind of my thoughts on the first half of the Nets season. Because obviously this is a Nets team that's been really hyped up and really talked about. And I kind of wanted to get into what my feelings of through one half of the year, my thoughts on the team. And so far I've felt very good. I think we can even be better. I think we can be. I think this team, we're playing well right now. Once we get KD back, I think we've seen that we can be even, we can even be better. So, I think we're in a good position right now. We are the 2 seed. I was hoping the 76ers lost last night so we can go in as the number 1 seed, but we're the 2 seed. And we get a week off, and then we are back to playing basketball again. So, like I said, Rangers played today. Yankees also played today. That should be a good game. Yankees, Phillies. Like I said, it's spring training baseball. It's baseball. Win or lose, it is baseball. And as we get closer and closer to opening day, like I talked about yesterday on the podcast, you're going to see a lot more of the bigger guys playing, the big name playing, guys like Luke Voit, guys like Aaron Judge, guys like, Gary Sanchez, guys like that. Sanchez hit another home run yesterday. He's 2 for 2 so far in spring training or whatever. He's got 2 home runs in spring training. Everyone's been saying he had an excellent offseason. He changed a lot of stuff, so he's looking like he has. You gotta go with it. Whether you like him or you don't, you got to go with the hot hand. And that's what I said at the beginning of the year. I said Yankees should go with the hot hand at catcher. Opening day, you should go with who was the best at catcher, who was the best in spring training. That's what I said the Yankees should do. More than likely, it's going to be Gary Sanchez, but I said go with the hot hand. So if the hot hand's Gary Sanchez, I said go with him. If the hot hand Kyle Gashioka, I said go with him. If the hot hand's Robinson Trinos, I said go with him. I said play the catcher battle like it's a competition. Not like Gary Sanchez has been starting the past couple years. Play it like there's 3 new faces into the building, and you got to scout them that way. Don't look at how the past went. Focus on the present. And so far, Gary Sanchez is definitely doing the best. And he's also gotten a lot of playing time. So, but yeah, these are the topics for today. Golden Tate got released by the New York Giants, like I said. I don't compliment the Giants a lot. And when I do, you should definitely watch it because it doesn't happen often. I very rarely compliment the Giants. I'm not a big Giant. I don't like the Giants. And it's not just because I don't like the Giants that I don't compliment them. I do, in fact, think the Giants make a lot of questionable moves. I could go through so many draft decisions the Giants make. I still don't think drafting Daniel Jones was the right decision for the New York Giants. And I've expressed myself millions and millions and millions of times why I don't think Daniel Jones is the answer for the New York Giants. And, if you watch the pods, if you've seen me, I've talked about Daniel Jones a ton of times and told you why he's not the franchise quarterback there. So, not much of what the Giants do I think it's good. Neither do I think the Jets. The Jets have made some good moves recently, but for the most part, a lot of what the Jets do is not good. So, but they're making good moves. I like the head coaching hire. With Robert Saleh, I like that hire. But for the most part, Giants did make a good move here. I'll tell you why. Then Corey Kluber. I really want to talk about this. And I know there's a lot of other NBA news. I mean, there was a story that broke today about James Harden and his trade market being like zero. Like, no teams are absolutely interested. No teams whatsoever are interested in Andre Drummond. So I kind of thought, with the trade deadline on March 25th and no teams are interested in him, I'm wondering what could happen with Andre Drummond. Is he going to sit out the rest of the year? Is he not going to play? Because currently he's being benched because they're trying to find a trade partner. So we'll see how that plays out. But I decided to talk about Corey Kluber because yesterday his start, and I said this on the podcast before spring training, I said one guy I'm going to be watching closely is Jameson, Tyone, and Corey Kluber, both coming off of injuries. Tyone coming off of former injuries, had some injuries in the past, but still kind of affects him. He changed his throwing motion. Corey Kluber coming off a shoulder injury, older in his career now. I said I wanted to see how he does. It's one spring training start, and I don't want to overreact the fact that it's one spring training start because it's not like this is the playoffs. It's one spring training start, and it was against the Toronto Blue Jays, right? It was one start. But what I saw against yesterday, what I saw when they were playing the Blue Jays, is exactly what I want to see out of him this year. Was he dominant? I mean, he was pretty dominant. He didn't allow a hit through 2 innings. But if he can do that, if he could just be consistent like that, that is what we need out of Corey Kluber. Cy Young Corey Kluber, that would be great. I don't think we're going to get that. Do I think we're going to get good Corey Kluber, a Corey Kluber that can go out there, give you 6-7 strong innings? Yes. And what I saw yesterday out of him was big. And I don't want to sound like I'm overreacting, and it might sound like I'm overreacting a little bit, but what I saw yesterday out of Corey Kluber was super, super, super promising and exciting as a Yankees fan. So we're going to get into that. Then we're going to finish off the podcast with the normal New York sports update. Rangers play today. Nets obviously off All-Star break, so they don't play until next Thursday. Knicks play today. They finish out their first half. All the NBA games today are finished. So today, it's the NBA games, and then other than that, the games don't start up again until like next Thursday. So a lot of the teams are finishing up today. So a little bit of a kind of a halt in the NBA action, but that's normal. All-Star game, All-Star break, that's normal. Although with the virus and all, NHL's not having an All-Star game. We're not sure what MLB is going to do. NBA decided to. So we'll see how all that goes. But yeah, so we got Knicks playing today. Nets are obviously off for another week, and Rangers also play today. So that should be pretty good. In Kentucky, they don't play until Saturday. I'll preview that game tomorrow, like I always do, for the college basketball. College basketball, big weekend in college basketball, huge weekend. Not just for like Kentucky, we win, we lose. Either way, it's gonna be we're gonna be a low seed in the SEC tournament. But a lot of these teams that are on the outside looking in that could make stretches, like if for example Michigan State, they're 14-10 right now. Let's say hypothetically they beat Michigan tomorrow, they're in. I think Duke, they're trying to make a late push. A lot of these teams trying to make late pushes. Saturday is a big day for games, so we'll see how that goes. But with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So Golden Tate reportedly released by Giants after 2 seasons with team. So, yeah, we got the news yesterday, actually, and I knew how to talk about it. It's actually a relatively pretty big move. Golden Tate, not the biggest name receiver out there, but he's pretty known. He's been around the league for a long time. Obviously, won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. Was with the Lions there, obviously won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, then went to, obviously, the Eagles, and then the Giants, and then all that stuff. So, obviously, he is, and obviously he played with the Lions as well. I believe the Lions, I think, is where he tore his ACL. I think it was where he tore his ACL. I'm not sure if I'm getting him mixed up with another player, but I believe he ended up tearing his ACL in preseason with the Lions. I might be getting him mixed up, but he played with the Lions for a little bit. He played with the Seahawks for, obviously, the majority of his career. I would say the prime of his career was with the Seahawks, where he won the Super Bowl ring. Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, and Golden Tate and Jimmy Graham, they were all in their prime. And with Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, that was one of the best offenses in the league. And then, obviously, he went to the Eagles, where, he was okay, nothing special. Obviously, he was with the Lions and in the Giants these past 2 years. I would say it's been flashes have kind of been how these past 2 years have gone for the New York Giants and Golden Tate. And we're going to see this, by the way, before I get into the whole Golden Tate thing, we're going to see a lot of these moves happening. And you might be surprised to see some guys get released. Golden Tate, I'm not surprised to see him get released. And I'll tell you why I think it's a good move. But to kind of put it into words, what happened with the Giants and Golden Tate. So the Giants got Golden Tate. And, Golden Tate is relatively older now. He's relatively older. He's 32 years old, so he's definitely telling the end of his career. He's obviously played 11 full seasons. He's played 11 years in the NFL, 32 years old, so he's definitely older. He's definitely getting to the older part of his career. I would say, the prime was in the beginning of his career with the Seahawks, where it all started for him. Went to the Lions, went to the Eagles, and obviously is now with the Giants, and obviously now is a free agent because he just got released. But the whole Golden Tate thing, and the Giants, when they originally picked up Golden Tate, were they expecting him to be the number one receiver, the best guy in the team? No, I don't think anyone was. But, I don't want to say that Golden Tate, what happened with Golden Tate and the Giants, I don't want to say it wasn't a success, because he had moments. And like I said, I'm big into consistency. I judge a lot of players, judge a lot of decisions, judge a lot of things off of consistency. If this player's consistent, I would consider him looking at the numbers and obviously all that stuff. But consistency is a big part on how I judge moves and how I judge players. If you watch these podcasts, you know I'm big into consistency. I talk about it a lot. Consistency staying on the field. Consistency putting up good numbers. Golden Tate struggled having consistency with the Giants. And that happens towards the tail end of your career. That always happens. As you get older, you're not going to be putting up big numbers every game. You might have a couple good games here and there, but it's not enough to put a full 16-game season together and be a really quality player. So what I would say is Golden Tate with the Giants, he was a decent player. He wasn't amazing. He wasn't Seattle Seahawks Golden Tate. He wasn't Philadelphia Eagles Golden Tate. Golden Tate with the Eagles definitely had some good moments. But he wasn't anything crazy, but he wasn't terrible. He had his moments, and that's what I think was the one problem that hurt this deal. Now, if Golden Tate, he had a couple flashes, a couple really nice catches, a couple really nice plays, a couple really nice routes, a couple really spectacular plays Golden Tate had with the New York Giants. And he had them especially, but the thing was it was spread apart, and that's the problem. That's why I think the Giants messed up getting Golden Tate. And I think the Giants, and this sometimes happens, teams, coaches, general managers, organizations sometimes buy into the player's name a little too much. And like I said, Golden Tate isn't the biggest name in the NFL. He's not. He's not the biggest name out there, but he's known. He won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. He's been on the biggest stage before. He obviously played for the Eagles. Obviously he's played for the Giants, which is New York sports, right? Everyone usually knows, who you are if you play for a New York sports team. You're going to have at least a couple players here and there. So I would say, for the most part, when the Giants picked Golden Tate up, I think they were a little too bought into the name. They were a little too bought into what he did, not what he can do. And I think that's what happened. I think they were too focused on what he did with the Seahawks, what he did with the Eagles, what he did with those teams. And I think the Giants picked him up thinking he would do that same thing, but they didn't realize he was in his 30s by then. And that's why I don't think it was a great move. And like I said, there was a lot of great flashes. There's Giants fans, they're going to remember a lot from Golden Tate. They're going to remember a lot of good things. There has been one-handed catches. There was, a couple really great, really, 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 really nice one-on-one plays. Whether that's against the best corner in the league or against their third cornerback, whatever the case may be. There was definitely times in his Giants career where he had his moments. But like I said, consistency wasn't key. And I think the Giants, when they got Golden Tate, when they decided to make the pickup, I think number one, it was a veteran presence. And you're adding a pretty talented receiver. Like I said, he's getting older to his career now. He's way out of his prime. He's nothing like he was with the Seattle Seahawks. But you're getting a veteran. At the time when they picked him up 2 years ago, Sterling Shepard's still young. Sterling Shepard's been in the league for a little bit now. He's starting to, learn and do things like that. Evan Ingram was fresh and new into the league. Obviously his rookie year, Darius Slayton, his rookie season was Golden Tate, so I'm sure he learned a lot there. You obviously had a brand new quarterback in Daniel Jones, and as crazy it may sound, receivers can help quarterbacks. I mean, it's nice to have a veteran presence in the locker room, veteran presence in your receiving core as a quarterback, knowing that you can have someone you trust, knowing someone's been around the game for a long time. That's helpful. So I think the Giants brought him in to not only be an asset, to be a solid receiver, but I do think they brought him in to be a mentor. But like I said, I think the Giants, when they gave him this contract, when they gave him this big amount of money, I think they were a little too focused on what he did, not what he's going to do now. And what he did with the New York Giants was he went out there, he played, stuff like that. And this goes into my next thing here. His first season with the Giants was decent. This year, I think, really ended it for him. Him and the Giants, an iffy relationship. They gave him the money, had a little bit of an iffy relationship. Golden Tate's wife was getting involved. There was some back and forth. He was a healthy scratch. There's all this kind of stuff, with Joe Judge, especially when Joe Judge took over as head coach. He's a more disciplined head coach. He's a guy that if a player's acting up, he ain't going to mess around. For example, Andrew Thomas missed a team virtual meeting. He missed it. Only once he missed it. Andrew Thomas had to sit out for the first half. So Joe Judge is a big disciplined coach. And there was a lot of going on off the field with Tate. Tate was complaining about his playing time. His wife was getting involved. And not saying that his wife shouldn't. I mean, there's no need for Golden Tate's wife to be getting involved in something that's football, right? And that's, I think, really what put the Giants over the edge. And that's where, too, it turns into a deal that, didn't really work out. And his first year with the Giants was decent. This most recent year was smooth, and then it was choppy towards the end. When you got to some of those games, you got later into the season, when you played Washington later on in the year, I think that's the game he got healthy scratch from. I know it was the Buccaneers game. I know he only had like 1 or 2 targets, and he was really frustrated. And I remember when he caught a touchdown actually against the Buccaneers, I remember him saying something like, that's why you got to throw him the ball or something, or give me more, or pass the ball to me more, or something like that. It started to get a little rocky, and towards the end there, it started to get a little rocky, and I think it was best for both teams part ways, and that's why I think it was best to part ways. Now, why I think this is a good move for the New York Giants is, number one, they're getting rid of a lot of cap. And the Giants, I think as it stands, are like 18th in the NFL in cap space, which isn't good. So they're getting rid of a lot of cap, and a lot of guys that are hogging that cap is offensive lineman Nate Solder, who has not lived up to the expectations Giants got him. He was one of the better offensive linemen in the league when he was with the Patriots. Giants gave him a ton of money, did nothing his first season, sat out this most recent year due to COVID's concerns. And then now this year, I'm sure he's going to come back, but the Giants might have to release him as well. But his contract's so big, the Giants gave Nate Solder so much guaranteed money. A lot of Nate Solder's cap's going to turn into dead cap, and it's going to turn into dead charge cap, and the Giants are going to have to eat a lot of that up, and that's the problem. But luckily, the Giants, they gave Golden Tate a lot of money, not much guaranteed. So the Giants definitely, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but definitely frees up a lot of cap space. And like I said, now if Golden Tate was playing, he was just going out there doing his thing, and he he didn't. I think really what prompted the Giants to release Golden Tate was, one, the contract, and number two, the rocky ending there, and number three, which you could also tie into kind of the contract, is you're giving a 32-year-old this amount of money, and he's not producing as much as you would like to. But at the same time, I think the Giants wanted a lot more out of Golden Tate than what they got. But realistically, what can you ask about a guy that's 32 years old and has been in the league for 11 years, right? You're not going to ask for much. There's players out there, right? Tom Brady, I mean, he's just a different human. He's still going out there and playing really well every game, and he's been in the league for, it seems like, 50 years. But as for Golden Tate, it's a little different. And the Giants now, too, they have a younger receiving core. With the 11th overall pick, they can do a lot there. It's tough now to kind of, it's tough to base off of, it's tough to say who the Giants are going to pick at number 11. Because you got 10 picks in front of you. And we all saw last year's draft went, none of us were expecting Isaiah Simmons to go number 9 to the Arizona Cardinals, and he ended up going number 9 to the Arizona Cardinals. So anything could happen in the draft. Giants could trade back, Giants could trade up, Giants could completely trade their pick for someone else. But I think now this freed cap, I think the Giants will go after Kenny Golladay. I think they're going to try and make a run at Allen Robinson, but I don't think it's going to work out. And the reason I say that is I don't think the Giants have enough cap for Allen Robinson. I think Allen Robinson is going to ask for a lot of money. I think he's going to ask for a lot of money. I really do. I think Allen Robinson is going to be one of the more higher paid receivers in the league after this free agency. I think Allen Robinson is going to ask for a lot of money, and I don't think the Giants are going to be able to hold that. Now, do I think the Jets will? Yeah, I think the Jets can because the Jets have $75 million. Giants might only have 20-something million. But, the Giants I definitely think are going to make a run at Kenny Golladay. They might also make a run at Will Fuller, Juju Smith-Schuster, guys like that. The Giants might trade for Odell. Who knows? It's so hard to tell. But all I can tell is this is a step, I would say, in the right direction for the New York Giants. And like I said, I don't compliment the Giants very much. So when I do, you got to remember it because I don't compliment them very much. But I will say this was a good move. They got rid of a guy that wasn't what you expected. A little bit of a rocky ending there in the New York Giants. And is now, I don't know what Golden Tate's going to do. I don't know if he's going to retire. I mean, he's 32, so he's 11 seasons into his career. Yeah, he might have 1 or 2 meh years left out of him. If he plays 2 more years, that gets him to 13 years in the league, and that's not like a quarterback. He's a receiver, so he's taking a lot of hits, a lot of running. So we'll see how it. For the most part, though, Golden Tate has been able to stay healthy even as he's gotten older. So I guess that's attractive. I don't know. It's so hard to tell. Who knows if Golden Tate's even going to be on a team? And if I think he is going to be on a team, I think it's going to be a short 1-year deal, and he's not going to be their number 1. That's really what I think. But the Giants do free up a lot of cap space with this move here. So Golden Tate reportedly released by the Giants after 2 seasons with team. The New York Giants have reportedly released receiver Golden Tate per ESPN's Adam Schefter. Tate, 32, has played 11 NFL seasons for the Seattle Seahawks, Detroit Lions, so yes, I was right about the Lions, Detroit Lions, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Giants. Amassing 697 catches, 8,278 yards, and 46 receiving touchdowns during his career. He eclipsed 1,000 receiving yards 3 times. Majority of that was with the Seahawks, not with the Giants, but still. Tate signed a 4-year, $37.5 million contract with the Giants during the 2019 offseason per over the cap. He notably averaged 93 receptions for 1,056 yards and 5 touchdowns from 2014 to 2017. The former Notre Dame star's first season with the New York Giants, with New York, ended with 49 catches for 676 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was third on the team. Obviously, he did have that suspension the first year. I'm just remembering that now. So the numbers could be a little jarred. I believe he missed 4 straight games. So I believe he missed 4 straight games. He missed the first 4 games of the season. So if I'm doing the math correctly, his first year he had 676 yards. Assume he might get like 800 yards, maybe 820, if he doesn't miss those games. He was third on the team in receptions and second in yardage and scores despite playing just 11 games. Tate missed 4 contests due to performance-enhancing drug violations, like I said, that he claimed resulted from fertility treatments, and another game after he was placed in the concussion protocol. Tate still led the team with 85 targets despite missing 5 contests, but that was under the old regime led by since-fired head coach Pat Shurmur. He wasn't featured as much under a new administration led by first-year head coach Joe Judge, who oversees a team with an offense piloted by new offense coordinator Jason Garrett. His 7.73 targets per game fell to 4.33. In addition, Tate played 83% or more of the offense snaps in 9 of the 11 games during the 2019 season per Pro Football Reference. He played more than 63% of the offense snaps just twice in 12 games in 2020. So his snaps, his receptions, his numbers just went down this season, and that's what got him a little angry. Tate's apparent anger also about his decreased usage hit an apex during the Giants' 25-23 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on November 2nd, like I said. After making a fourth quarter catch, I said this earlier, Tate threw the ball aside and screamed, "Throw me the ball," tore with the Giants sideline per The Athletic's Dan Duggan. He later screamed, "Throw me the ball," tore with ESPN cameras after making a diving catch per ESPN's Jordan Ronan. On the same night, Tate's wife, Ellis, made the following post on Instagram. I'm not going to get into the post. I'm not going to get into that kind of stuff. What I will get into, though, is it ended a little messy. Word emerged from Ronan that the Giants were trying to trade Tate, but the deadline came and went without any action. The Giants later announced Tate would not be with the team for their game against the Washington football team for Sunday, November 8th. They did not provide an official reason. I also noted that earlier. They didn't name a reason, but as the NBA says it or whatever, they name it as like a healthy scratch. The Rangers have had a couple of those this season. A healthy scratch is whether a player's doing bad, or in this case, you're trying to trade him. It's pretty much where you bench him. It's another way of saying they're not playing or they're getting benched. I guess it's a nicer way of saying it instead of, oh, he's getting benched. But it's a healthy scratch, so that means that, he's not going to play. Ralph Vacciano of SNY gave some insight. This is the punishment for Golden Tate's tumultuous week, which included him screaming for the ball on camera Monday night, and Instagram post from his wife was critical how it was being used. Tate returned for a 2017-17 win over the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 10, and ultimately finished it with 35 catches for 388 yards and 2 touchdowns in 12 games in 2020. Sans Tate, the Giants' remaining wide receiver core includes Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Austin Mack, and Dante Pettis. That group figures to receive additions via the draft, free agency, or both, with Tate now gone. Per Art Stapleton of Bergen Record, the Giants will save over $6 million in cap space with the move. So, like I said, it was a good move. It's a good move for the Giants. It's cap space. They're going to do that. And, so they're going to make that move. So, it's a good move for the New York Giants. Let's just look at some of his stats here. I know I named some of them, but I kind of want to get into some of the other stuff here. And also, Golden Tate sent something out. Golden Tate sent something out on his own Twitter thing. He said, "I appreciate the conversations and professionalism of the Giants management showed me earlier today. Always a class act organization from start to finish. Your respect means the world to me and my family. To my teammates, I'll value each and every relationship I've built over the past 2 seasons forever. Such a fun, gritty group of dudes to be around. Y'all go own the NFC East unless I'm in the division. To the Giants fans, man, did I have fun playing for y'all? Did I won a Super Bowl at MetLife, and you guys only added to those great memories. Business is business. I'm excited to help my next team and get another ring." So, another ring. Then he wrote, "God is good. I trust his plan. I'm thankful to be healthy and eager to see where he'll take my family and I. Looking forward to the next year. Let's go." And then he wrote, "Thank you, NYC." So, obviously, he wrote that out. So, nothing special. But, he sent it out, kind of just finishing things off for him. And like I said, he won the Super Bowl. He won it back in 2000. He won it back Super Bowl 48, which was actually at MetLife Stadium, which is the home of the Jets and the Giants. So he was a Super Bowl champion. He was a Pro Bowler. And, so I must have got it wrong. So it was not him. I believe it was Jermaine Kearse who tore his ACL with the Lions. I had a feeling it was Jermaine Kearse. So he played with the Lions for a little bit. Obviously, he played with the Seahawks for 3 years. Played with the Lions for 4. 1 year with the Eagles. 2 with the Giants. And, like I said, cap-cutting move. To kind of just look at some of his other stats here. 35 catches, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11.1 was his average per catch. Another thing with the Giants, he wasn't able to stay on the field a ton. He had 11 games, 12 games, and in the beginning part of his career, he had 11 games, 16, 15, then 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. And in the past 4 years, he's been struggling to stay on the field. 7 games, 8 games, 11 games, and then most recently, this past season, 12 games. So he's played a total of 160 games in his career. He's got 695 yards, or 95 catches. He's had 3 1,000-yard seasons, All three of them came with the Detroit Lions during his 5-year run there. 8,278 yards in his career. His average yards per catch is 11.9, which is almost 12. Touchdowns, he's gone 48 in his career. And, his longest catch of his career was 80 yards, which came in 2013 with the Seattle Seahawks. So, he's on his way to his next destination. Wherever that is, who knows? I don't even want to make a prediction because I don't have any clue. Some team out there is going to look for him. I think the age does come into effect given that he's 32 years old. And if you had to choose a free agent receiver like an Al Robinson or a Galladay or a Smith, Schuster or a Will Fuller, I would think you would probably take the younger one over a Golden Tate. But like I said, some of these teams out there, they don't have $50 million in cap space. Some of these teams are smaller, and maybe some of these teams renegotiate his contract, take him on a 1-year deal like he said. His goal is to win another Super Bowl. So that's every player's goal. But maybe he goes to a contending team. Maybe he wins one more and finishes off his career that way. But who knows? So Golden Tate released from the New York Giants. Comment down below your thoughts on the move. Your thoughts on Golden Tate being gone. Thoughts on, just him not being with the New York Giants anymore. And I know some Giant fans like Golden Tate and some didn't like him. And I've always said it. I hear this. Sometimes, instead of saying the glass is half empty, glass half full, sometimes you got to be a glass half full kind of guy. And a glass half full kind of answer is some people are like this. And I was like this with Adam Gase too. Or some Giants fans didn't like Golden Tate. Some liked him. So do the Giants fans out there that didn't like him. Because there was a couple. I know a couple that really didn't like Golden Tate at all. And there was a couple out there that did like Golden Tate. So don't be mad it happened. Be glad it's over, as they always say. Especially in sports. So. But yeah, so, the New York Giants released Golden Tate. Comment down below your thoughts on that. Coming up next, I will talk about the New York Yankees new pitcher, Corey Kluber. His first spring training start was yesterday, and I don't want to do an overreaction, but I'm going to say what I saw yesterday out of Corey Kluber was super, super, super promising. I'll tell you why coming up next. Alrighty, so let's get going here. So yesterday, Corey Kluber, let's see here. Okay, so let me just get the box score up here. I'm going to go up here in box score. So yesterday, the Yankees new pitcher Corey Kluber acquired him from the, let's get the box score up from yesterday. Boom, Yankees win 4-1. Another 7-inning game. So yesterday Corey Kluber, and like I said, I don't want to, and this is why I don't want to take my words and spin them. It's one spring training game. It's one game. It's against not even probably the Blue Jays full lineup. Let me see. Yeah, to be honest, no. Yeah, I mean, Tellez was in there. Jansen was in there. Panic was in there. Hernandez was in there. Tellez was in there. So it was a little bit of those guys, but for the most part, Bo Bichette wasn't in there. George Springer wasn't in there. And neither was Vladimir Guerrero, which is kind of the so-called three-headed monster the Blue Jays were trying to and have built in Toronto. We obviously don't know kind of in Toronto. They're playing in Tampa this season due to the whole travel ban in Canada. But with the Toronto Blue Jays, they've obviously got that like three-headed monster it's kind of funny because the Blue Jays, their three-headed monster is like farm system. It's a lot of the minor league guys. It's Bo Bichette. It's Vladimir Guerrero. It's their top prospects. And they only went out and got, the only guy they went out and got was George Springer. But that's another thing too. I mean, they've gotten some other guys, but I feel like the Blue Jays in a way, and I'll get to Corey Kluber in a second, because I think this is interesting. The Blue Jays might be one of the only teams out there that all these years they have stuck to the plan of like just sticking to their farm system and just using their farm system as the guys they want to bring up. Like I feel like the Blue Jays are one of the only teams to do that. Like a lot of teams, they'll brag about their farm system and then they'll never use it. They'll end up trading a guy, or they'll just bring him up and they never use him, or whatever the case may be. They'll brag on and on and on. Oh, we have this guy, this guy's so great. They have all that, and we understand that. And then all of a sudden what happens is they completely forget about the fact that they have all these great players and they don't use them. And eventually they'll blow up their farm system and start rebuilding again. And the Blue Jays, I feel like, are one of those teams out there that actually stuck to their plan, saying, we're going to rebuild this. We're going to go head on. We've got a great farm system, which they do. They still do. Even though they've gotten a lot of top prospects from there, they still got a lot of more top prospects coming up. They using their farm system. You're going to use their farm system, and they actually stuck to the plan. A lot of MLB teams out there don't do that. Instead, they try to get done with the rebuild too much, or too quickly, not too much. They try to get done with the rebuild too quickly, and they go out there and they try to get all this random talent that they barely even know about, and then they create this weird roster that they have. And then they go from there. But the Blue Jays have stuck to the plan. We're going to use our farm system. We're going to use our top guys. Bautista, all those guys. Those guys are gone. Edwin Encarnacion, those days are long gone. Of the days of Bautista and Encarnacion and all the home runs, those days are gone. They needed to bring in new players, a fresh start, and they stuck to the plan, and they have done that, and that's been really good for the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's what I kind of first want to start off was, yes, I know it wasn't the great guys, but it was. I mean, the Yankees, you could even say, too, kind of did that. They got Judge. They got Gleyber Torres. Gio Urshela, he was in other teams' farm systems. The Yankees picked him up. So that wasn't technically in the Yankees' farm system, but he could be considered like a prospect from another organization. These Blue Jays prospects, these guys have been with them from low A ball all the way to now ultimately getting an MLB opportunity. So that's what I first off wanted to say. Not really, but that's what I kind of got dragged into. So, yeah, so the New York Yankees obviously won. But still, you're getting some good prospects that Corey Kluber was going up against. And the Blue Jays are one of the only teams. And I'm telling you, the Blue Jays are going to be a scary team. And I know a lot of people are talking about the Rays and stuff like that, trying to make it up. No, I don't believe that. The Rays got rid of Charlie Morton. They got rid of Blake Snell. You know how pivotal that is? I'm telling you, it's going to be the Yankees and the Blue Jays battling it out. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Blue Jays win it. They got Bo Bichette, they got George Springer, they got Gurriel, they got Vladimir Guerrero. And let me tell you, Vladimir Guerrero, he lost 40 pounds this offseason, and he looks like he is ready to dominate. This was a guy that was a little overweight, a little heavier, and was not quite on the ball, was behind the ball, was dropping his shoulder, all that good stuff. But they still have that. So what I saw yesterday in this Yankees game was I saw a lot of good out of the New York Yankees pitcher Corey Kluber. So let me first give you the stats. So yesterday he had 2 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, no earned or just regular runs, no walks, 3 Ks across 2 innings pitched. He didn't allow a hit. He didn't walk anyone. He had a perfect 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down, faced Espinal, Hernandez, Tellez, Jansen, and Panic. 6 up, 6 down, and it looks like Polichois, I think his name is. Yeah, so 6 up, 6 down for Corey Kluber and the New York Yankees. And let me tell you something. That was really promising. So that, like I said, it's spring training. It's 1 start. And guys like Bo Bichette, like I said, I've already said this. It was 1 start, though. But a lot of times, sometimes you see players, when they come back from an injury, and let me mind you, I like Corey Kluber and all. I really do. I'm excited we picked him up, and I'm excited for what he has in store this season. But he's a little bit on the older side. He's coming off of a big shoulder injury. Injuries and getting to the older side don't mix well. Injuries and being young don't mix well either. And especially when you get older in your career. And especially when you're a pitcher and it's an injury in your throwing arm. And that's obviously obvious because a lot of the injuries are in the throwing arm. But you'll see sometimes guys get injuries, in other places too. It could be very well, you're throwing and you pull something or whatever the case may be. But when you get older, you want to stay healthy. And sometimes it's hard to stay healthy. And Corey Kluber kind of went out there and went ahead and will go ahead and say, hey, you know what? I know I'm old. I've been pitching this way for my entire career. But if I want to stay healthy, if I want to be a key contributor to ultimately what we all think is a World Series team, I've got to change my motion a little bit. And that, to me, I got excited about that. There's obviously, you're about 50-50. You're like, okay, he's changed his motion. He's already this late into his career, and he's already changed his motion. But you could also look at it as, hey, he's changing his motion for the better. He's changing his motion so he could be healthy. He's changing his motion so he can go out there and obviously gives him the best opportunity to start every game he's supposed to start and not miss any games. Last season, he pitched one game. He pitched, 2 innings and was done for the year, had to get shoulder surgery. Coming back this year, it's almost like a fresh start. If I was Corey Kluber, I would look at this as it's a fresh start. You were with the Indians all your career, boom. Then you went to the Texas Rangers, you pitched one game, it didn't work out well, you're done. Now you're here with the New York Yankees. Picture it as a fresh start, a fresh new beginning. You got a new arm rotation. Like, treat it like this is your rookie year again. Going out there, a fresh start. Because in a way, Corey Kluber, he's going to make the roster. He's going to be our starting pitcher. But if he's struggling and he's not going out there and pitching well, in a way, if a Severino or someone like that's when he comes back, and let's say Herman and Garcia are pitching well, or Montgomery, you might be able to see him get taken out or something. But Corey Kluber is going to be in this rotation, and it was super promising to see yesterday. And I know, and I get it. It wasn't against the best of the best talent in the world, and we still got to see as spring training starts to ramp up. But not even just the fact that it was against the best of the best, but even the best of the best could have swung it. His stuff looked really good. And no matter if it's the amazing players or the bad players, if you got good stuff, if your stuff's on, if your pitches are looking good, you're going to be in a good position to play that game, and you're going to be in a good position to pitch well. And that's what he was doing yesterday. He was pitching well. His stuff was really good. Slider, fastball was really good. I've been saying, when he was in the prime of his career with the Cleveland Indians, he was a Cy Young pitcher every single year, it seemed. This was a guy who truly utilized that fastball-slider combo, and it really worked out for him. And last couple years, he hasn't been utilizing it as much, and now he's going back to that fastball slider combo. So not even the fact that I don't even going to look at the fact that he faced against some of those terrible, not great, not the starters all the time, but I want to look at the fact that he still went out there and he still played so well. His stuff was on, and even if he's facing a George Springer, there's some of that stuff he threw that was really, really good. His stuff was on. I thought his new throwing motion looked good. Sometimes if you switch up your throwing motion, your command could be wild and stuff like that. I'll tell you what, Corey Kluber, ever since he got injured, that shoulder injury, I think it was super frustrating for him. And I think with the Texas Rangers, it was kind of also like a new start, a new beginning, kind of like a show Cleveland in a way, like what you gave up, kind of a new beginning. Because a lot of people have been down on Corey Kluber the past couple years, age, injuries, things like that. For the most part, he's remained healthy in his career. It's just last season the injury really, took him off the track. But now, obviously, being back with the Yankees, I think he's going to be put on more notice. And what I saw yesterday about Corey Kluber was really good. And obviously, we all want Corey Kluber to go back to the Corey Kluber form. We all want that. We want Corey Kluber to be the Cy Young Corey Kluber that he was 3 years ago. We want that. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we're only a couple years removed from Corey Kluber, from the Cy Young version of Corey Kluber. And I'm saying that it would be great to see that happen. Do I think it's going to happen? It's tough to say. But do I think there's a shot? Without a doubt, there's definitely a shot. I'm saying if we get a solid Corey Kluber, if we get a Corey Kluber that's going to go out there and give you solid innings, yes. But if you get a Corey Kluber that's going to go out there and pitch really bad, it's not good. And like I said, I think Cy Young Corey Kluber, I don't know if this is going to be possible. But can we get solid Corey Kluber, guy that's going to go out there and give you 6-7 strong innings? What I saw yesterday, we're on the right track to seeing that this season with Corey Kluber. I think it was super promising. And like I said, for Corey Kluber, you got to look at it as a little of a fresh start. A fresh start. Obviously, he played 9 seasons with Cleveland. Then was done there. moved on to Texas, where he played one game, pitched one inning, threw one strikeout, and was done for the season. And is he going to be the Corey Kluber we saw, where he was putting up 2.25 ERA a game? No. We might see 2.34 ERA Corey Kluber to be solid. That's a solid 6-7 inning kind of guy. And there's a lot of games there where he pitched. I mean, he's been a consistent guy. He's been staying healthy. Other than that, and I'm hoping that if this new arm motion, if he continues to look like that, it's going good. And like I said, he's 34 years old is, definitely on the older side. But I think if this new arm motion helps, if he's getting good velocity, getting good movement, I think we might found a little bit of a revamped Corey Kluber. And I think that's when the Yankees, when they made this move, they knew we can get a guy like a Corey Kluber who can do this and can be dominant like that. And I think that's really good. So, really good for the New York Yankees to see a guy like Corey Kluber go out there and be really solid. So that's obviously really, really good. So let's get into our game picks here, or our other stuff, whatever you want to say here. Boom, just like that. So let's get over to the college basketball games. So yesterday, these are the ranked games. Florida State won, Villanova won, and San Diego State won. Today we got going Texas Tech, Iowa State. I'll give Texas Tech the win. Michigan State. I'll give Michigan the win. Baylor, Oklahoma State. Give Baylor the win. West Virginia, TCU. Give West Virginia the win. Kansas, UTEP. Give Kansas the win. Colorado, Arizona State. Give Colorado the win. Iowa, Nebraska. Give Iowa the win. And Oklahoma, Texas. Give Oklahoma the win. As for the NBA yesterday, the Nets won. Kings won. Trailblazers won. Mavericks won, Bulls won, Hawks won, Hornets won, 76ers won, Pistons won, and Pacers won. Today, the Nets also won. We won 132-114. So the Nets moved to 24-13 on the season, and Harden had 29 points, Irving 24 points, DeAndre Jordan a double-double. He had 10 points and 10 rebounds. Joe Harris 19 points. Shaman had 11 points, and Nick Claxton, again, with an amazing 16 points again. He's been really dominant for him, and Harden led the way with 29 points there. So the Nets go into the break with a 24-13 record, and we're going pretty good here. Today's game in the NBA, we got going the Clippers, Wizards. I'll give Clippers the win. Celtics, Raptors, give Celtics the win. Knicks, Pistons, give Knicks the win. Bucks, Grizzlies, give Bucks the win. Nuggets, Pacers, give Nuggets the win. Pelicans, Heat, give Pelicans the win. Spurs, Thunder, give Spurs the win. Trailblazers, Kings, give Trailblazers the win. And Suns, Warriors, give Suns the win. And as for the NHL, yesterday the Avalanche won, Golden Knights won, Coyotes won, Blues won, Maple Leafs won, and Capitals won. Today, a lot of NHL games. Today, we've got going Flyers, Penguins. I'll give Flyers the win. Canadians, Jets, give Canadians the win. Hurricanes, Red Wings, give Hurricanes the win. Islanders, Sabres, give Islanders the win. Lightning, Blackhawks, give Lightning the win. Panthers, Predators, give Panthers the win. Blue Jackets, Stars, give Stars the win. Flames, Senators, give Flames the win. Maple Leafs, Canucks, give Maple Leafs the win. Rangers also play today. Rangers coming in this game 8-9-3. Devils coming in this game 7-9-2. This game comes on today 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on MSG. You can find this game on MSG Plus and MSG Plus 2. So whatever the MSG network's there. Over under for this game is 5.5. I'll give the Rangers the win here. In the upcoming days, Jacob Trouba should be back soon, and Capo Caco should also be back soon, and hopefully Panarin's back sooner rather than later as well. As for the baseball games, yesterday the Dodgers and Reds tied, Mariners, Cubs tied, but the Brewers won, Brewers won, Diamondbacks won, Rockies won, Royals won, Angels won, Cardinals won, Marlins won, Reds won, Phillies won, Orioles won, and Rays won. And the Yankees also won 4-1 yesterday. Sanchez hit another home run, like I said, and like I said with Kluber, it was a good performance for him. So today we've got going the Blue Jays, Tigers. I'll give Blue Jays the win. Braves, Mets. I'll give Braves, Pirates. I'll give Braves the win. Rays, Twins, give Rays the win. Orioles, Red Sox, give Orioles the win. Mets, Nationals, I'll give Mets the win, I guess. And then Padres, Rangers, give Padres the win. White Sox, Giants, give White Sox the win. Angels, Diamondbacks, give Diamondbacks the win. Indians, Brewers, give Brewers the win. Mariners, Rockies, give Mariners the win. Cardinals, Astros, give Cardinals the win. Dodgers, Cubs, give Dodgers the win. And Reds, Royals, give Reds the win. Yankees also play today. Yankees coming in this game 3-1. Phillies coming in this game 1-2-1. So currently, actually, the Yankees game just started, and I was watching a little bit of here. Get on my phone here, but the games haven't really been televised that often. But the Yankees currently are losing. So, I guess I hope they win, but with the way it's going, it's not looking great for them. Obviously, hope the Yankees win there. So, let's get into fantasy basketball now. Fantasy basketball and hockey. So right now in fantasy basketball, I'm losing 822 to 457. So not going good. A lot of injuries here, but today I got going Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Pascal Siakam, Jonas Valanciunas, Kemba Walker, Jeremy Grant, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Miles Turner. So Jimmy Butler's day to day. Butler knee is questionable for Thursday's game at New Orleans. Pascal Siakam, still same stuff, protocols, he's out. Jeremy Grant's day-to-day. Grant quad is questionable for Thursday's game against the Knicks. And VanVleet has been ruled out for Wednesday's game versus the Pistons due to NBA health and safety protocols. Aaron Rose of SI.com reports. So that's the same stuff there. So getting pounded with injuries there. And as for fantasy hockey, I'm also losing 67 to 35. Goalie did not help. Mike Smith had a terrible game. I'm thinking about dropping him. I just don't know what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna drop him for. Because to be honest, goalies are kind of thin in my league right now. I mean, the best goalie out there is Chris Drieger for Panthers, but he doesn't play that often. He's back and forth with another goalie, so it's inconsistent. Goalies in fantasy hockey, I'm learning, are very short. Like, there's not short height-wise, but, like, it's thin. It's thin. There are not many good goalies out there. Like, for example, forwards right now, William Nylander having an excellent season. He's on waivers right now. I'm not going to pick him up because I don't need a forward. I'm not going to pick him up right now because I don't need a forward. Fingers crossed that my team doesn't get hammered with injuries. But the goalies right now in fantasy hockey, it's not great. It's not great. Like, it's all goalies that split time, for example. Let's say, like Jonathan Quick. He's out there. He's splitting time with the other Kings goalie, so it's tough there. And it's tough. And if you have one day where your goalie doesn't do good, I believe Jonathan Quick is splitting time with Calvin Peterson. So goalies are in a good position. And that's why I'm getting crushed right now is because of my goalie. But this is what I got going today anyway. I've got going Mika Zibanejad, Jack Eichel, Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, Jamie Benn, Johnny Gaudreau, Nicholas Ehlers, Joe Pavelski, Jeff Petrie, Duncan Keith, Shea Weber, Brock Beausier, and my goalie Semyon Varlamov as well. So that's what I got there. So hopefully somehow, some way, my goalies get better. Because Jacob Markstrom, he's been really solid, and him on IR doesn't help. And Mike Smith, he's been solid all season. I pick him up, and he plays terribly. He allows, 5 goals? Although, you got to cut him a little slack because he is playing the Maple Leafs with some of the best players in the league. You know, Mitch Marner, Muzzin, Tavares, and Austin Matthews as well. So you're playing with some of the best offensive players in the league. But the Oilers are good too. So, just an off day for him. But anyway, that's what I got for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Comment down below if you would be interested in not listening, but if you would be interested in hearing if I were to do like a kind of a Nets first half report update, kind of like just kind of a overview of the Nets first half. How I thought the first half has gone for the Brooklyn Nets. Have they lived up to expectations, players, stuff like that? Comment down if you would be interested in do that. If you would be interested in me doing that. Now, I would probably do it tomorrow because Monday it's like all weekend to then just randomly do it on a Monday. But obviously, I always say I do breaking news over stuff I do. So, for example, like if I think of something if I think of a topic like a Nets first half stuff, if there's a breaking news that comes out, let's say Deshaun Watson gets traded, for example, I'm going to talk about Deshaun Watson before I talk about that because it's breaking news. That's how I do it. So, as long as there's no breaking news around in the sports world, which I believe there's not going to be any crazy trades going down in the NFL. I believe the NFL right now is kind of in a stalled position. You had the Goff Stafford trade and you had the Wentz trade, and I think for now we're in a little bit of an area where it's kind of like stalled. The action is stalled. We're kind of waiting for like the draft, but we're like it's like no team wants to step forward and make a move. It's like every team's kind of waiting for that first team to make a move. That's what it kind of seems like. But anyway. Just comment down below if you would be interested in that. But that's all I got for the podcast today. That will do it for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.